everybody, Gina Mizell here alongside Danny Moran. It is Tuesday at Oregon State practice. Of course, the Beavers travel to Berkeley to face Cal on Saturday nights at 7:30 p.m. and it was a defensive availability day. Obviously a group that we thought had kind of turned a corner, took a big step back against UCLA, lots of injuries on that side of the ball, and now Jared Goff and company is on tap. So again, another tough challenge.
Yeah, although they've actually struggled. I mean, you thought kind of going in this would be maybe the biggest offensive challenge that Oregon State would face all year, and it probably couldn't come at a worse time, but they're coming off, I think Goff was 18 for 41. He's, you know, since the 5 interception game against Utah, hasn't seemed quite right. That chemistry with his receivers hasn't quite been there. But as you alluded to, I mean, some of the injuries that are going on for Oregon State, particularly in their secondary, are going to make things challenging. Justin Strong was out again today. He obviously missed UCLA with a concussion. Dwayne Williams, who left that game in an ambulance, was out today. Treston Nakud looks to be back, but there's still a lot of depth issues along that secondary. Yeah,
again, we've talked about the moving parts in the secondary all season long, and at one point in the UCLA game, Devin Chappelle was playing cornerback, so that was his third position he's played this season. But you mentioned Treston Nakud, obviously a scary injury a couple weeks ago against Colorado, but he was back, and I sort of talked to him for a long while about just, first of all, that moment and coming back, and he came back on Monday and said it sort of, you know, felt like it was normal and that there was no fear, and again, obviously, you know, that's a big challenge. And one of the things with Jared Goff you mentioned is that he's been pressured a lot, and that's been something that Oregon State's defensive line has struggled with all season. But you talked to one guy, Sumner Houston, who's kind of making a name for himself on that line.
He is. He's a bit undersized, but I mean, Kalani Sitake and, you know, the defensive staff sees a lot of great things for him. He's obviously, you know, playing behind a guy like Kyle Pecco, who could argue, you know, we've talked about the MVP of the defense to this point. So he's learning from somebody who's, you know, really almost mastered that position, and I think, you know, long term they see a lot of versatility and flexibility from that guy, given that he's about 280. Maybe his weight will go up, maybe it'll stay about the same. He can maybe play an end, but I think that, you know, that's one of the things we've talked about all year. You're looking for kind of those players to emerge that can actually kind of continue their progress into next year.
Yeah, and even during practice we saw the young guys, quote unquote, they did some skelly work, they did some 11-on-11 work and some goal line work, and we saw some of those young defensive linemen kind of go after the younger offensive linemen, so they're hoping that better things are on the horizon and on all levels of the defense moving forward.
Right, and we'll see again how, you know, going forward, how aggressive, you know, Kalani Sitake continues to be. Obviously with the amount of injuries, I mean, you can play a lot of risk by that. You know, Josh Rosen's deep pass out of his own territory that ended up going for a long, you know, score, a long drive was, you know, occurred on a corner blitz. But I think, you know, will we continue to see that? I think that'll be something that will track the final 3 games of the year. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, until tomorrow when the offensive players are available, you can check out our stuff on OregonLive.com and in the Oregonian every single day, so stick with us there. For Danny Moran, I am Gina Mizell. We will catch you next time from Corvallis.